Okay, game number 3. Decider match, ace match. Both of these players, tournament life on the line. Spawning in the top left corner of the map, it's going to be the red Zerg player, Dr. Dario, aka TLO.
The bottom right, as the blue Terran, it's Dayshi. Alright, so this is the game where Dayshi has to, I don't know, mix something up. Maybe try mech? I mean, I don't know. Mech isn't doing so hot in the late game, which is kind of like its thing. So if you could do like, if there was some like really powerful mid game pushes, I think mech could still be okay, because it's really those Vipers and Broodlords that really screwed up the flow of the game. But it's still hard to pull off. If it's not mech, what is it?
Right, so, again, this kind of goes back to what we saw towards the end of the game. The Marauders did exceedingly well. He just didn't really have a lot, and the game was already over by the time he had some.
Yeah, it probably is just like a flow thing, you know? Like, I certainly don't think that Roach Ravager Corruptor is overpowered, but it is strong. But it's only as strong as I feel like, you know, Roach Baneling Corruptor looked when Dark played it. Like, it didn't become something that was Breathe on a Fester. It didn't become, like, you know, everything, or nothing could beat it. But it was annoying and certainly looked powerful when you fought against it. It's kind of what I feel like with Roach Ravager Corruptor. It looks stupid strong, and you're just like, why aren't I winning? I won some of these scuffles, like, what's happening? But there's some way to beat it. And, today's just, like, the only Terran we cast today. So he has the unfortunate burden of being, like, what do you want to call it? The poster boy for this, and that's, you know, that's not necessarily the best thing.
Yeah, it's funny because the context being that we do see like a lot of Terran, but in the Alima League, and over there we don't actually see a whole lot of diversity through TVZs, and I don't think we've seen any Roach Ravager Corruptor really. It's been a lot of True doing things like Ultralisks fast and whatnot. So.
That's a good point. Like I said, it's right now it looks like Daishi's got to have the answers. He certainly does if he wants to continue in the tournament, but it's a hard thing to do, to be like, okay, fix it within 24 hours. Or in this case, within 2 hours. Like, find the secret.
After being awake for 20 as well. I'm actually impressed that Dayshi, again, like, going back to the control that we noted in that first series we cast him in today, like, the fact that his control is still so on point, despite being so sleep-deprived, is very impressive to me.
Yeah. What is TLO gonna do? I mean, I really am predicting him going Roach Ravager again. I mean, it worked so well last game, and it seems like that's that tilts. It seems to be what tilts Dayshi, so why not do that again? But he could try something else. He could try Nidus Worm. He's getting speed on the Lings and no Roach Warren yet, so he might be mixing it up. He might just be waiting on it.
Yeah. Reaper gets one last bomb off as it dies. I feel like someone's hoping to bully me into this answer in chat, even though I already said it publicly. Shiggy43 says, Rifkin, please answer already when you're doing the raffle. It's not like people are only here for that and they'll leave afterwards. I don't know. Maybe they are. I wasn't thinking about that before, but now I'm too worried to let you guys know, and everyone could leave the stream. No, I said it already, and I'll say it again. Like, we were going to open the raffle up after this series is done, and then close it when we're done casting the tournament, so... I don't have a time frame for you, I'm sorry, because it all depends on how long games go for.
So here's something that's cool. I mean, this turned into a bigger annoyance than I think Dayshi really wanted. It was like 8 Lings, and they killed a Hellion and a couple SCVs. Very annoying. But we have Dayshi going for very hard of the Swarm. Quick 3 base into Hellion Banshee.
Yo, I like this. And if he goes Hyperflight Rotors, I'm going to like this even more.
I don't know about that. I mean, I mentioned it, and apparently she just listened to the cast, but so maybe someone just told him, like, look, like, he did really well when it was basically Heart of the Swarm in that first game. Like, why don't you try that again? And just, you look at it as, like, Roach Hydra. You know how to deal with that. Like, you deal with it in Heart of the Swarm all the time, and if that is the case, if that's his game plan here, then I actually really like it. Get the double engineering bay, though? No? Okay. I just don't know what's up with that. Like, this is a Heart of the Swarm build, and you usually get double engineering base of this build, but still going with the 1. All right.
Hellions, unfortunately, are not going to get past these Ravagers. The attack speed a little too quick, and they'll get taken out. But the Banshee, first one coming across the map. And
This is like the first time we see Banshee in TPZ when it's not mech. Like
in a long time, yeah.
as an opener, this is so weird.
I mean, keep in mind, there was that small period, and I wish this period would come back, where we saw Hyperflight Rotor Banshees just make this matchup a joke. And I'm not sure, I really don't know if it was the fact that Zerg players finally started using Parasitic Bomb or what the deal is that made that fall off, but you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about if you just started watching Legacy recently. There's an upgrade to the Banshee that comes off Fusion Core Tech that makes it fast as an Oracle. And the big thing about that was not that it would outrun Mutalisks or anything, but it would outrun Corruptors and it would outrun the Overseers that would detect them. So it was a really cool build, and I liked it.
It's something that people experiment, I think, when late game becomes more normal, especially as Ultras continue being kind of stupid late game. But unfortunately, we just don't see that many even late game TVZs.
Yeah.
Usually ends at some point, or someone's already in the lead, or something like that.
By a massive amount too, yeah.
Yeah, but the Banshee doesn't do a whole lot. But I mean, you gotta remember, it didn't really do a whole lot in Heart of the Swarm either. Like it maybe killed a queen if it was lucky, or if it had Hellbats with it, then it was really powerful. But defending against the Ravager push, it's helpful. Obviously against Roches, it's beautiful. I mean, they're still very helpful. They just were replaced with Liberators because Liberators seem to be doing a better job.
I think it's not only that, but Liberators, and this definitely has a lot to say about Legacy of the Void in general. They're easier to use.
A second starport, which is scouted, by the way. So, I mean, this could have been Dayshi going for double tanks, which, you know, would you really need the Corruptors? Probably still you want the Corruptors, but with seeing double starport, maybe go to Corruptors a lot quicker with this lair. No, and there's going to be probably a lot of Liberators.
Yeah, if it's not Liberators, I would be really curious as what he decides to send this direction in. Again, I don't think it'll be mass Banshees. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful, but it's very
yeah, right? You still need a Fusion Core to get it, don't you?
Yeah, and on the Tech Lab.
I wonder if they would use it if it wasn't a requirement there. That'd be weird.
I think it'd be too broken if you didn't require it, though, to be honest. Like, that's...
It's so expensive.
Yeah, but it's such a strong upgrade.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, it's not gonna happen because, like, seriously, the Banshee has just been allowed to kind of die off in TVZ. Like, no one's really been like, the Banshee needs to find its place again. Everyone's too busy talking about the Cyclone and, you know, their Liberators OP.
There's an upgrade in the campaign I wish they would give the Banshee. Like, that would be a sick Fusion Core upgrade where it does the splash damage on its missiles. Just put in a straight line.
I really wonder why. Do they feel like it's a cop-out to try and include campaign powers when they look to balance things?
There are some campaign powers I think would be super cool that wouldn't necessarily wreck the game, but we just never get to see it. Medevac will fall down with the Spore Crawler, so these Marines are going to get some drone kills. Even the Queen, which is really nice.
She's fresh too. Sight?
Fresh off the hatchery.
Yeah. The drone's actually having to run and burrow here. This is some nice damage for 4 Marines left alone. TLO was not on a 4th base, by the way, for quite a while, only just now getting some drones over there, and they're messed up on the mining, too. It's so annoying.
So, I see a lot of people talking about the amount of Terran in the qualifiers since they're brought up Dayshi being another cast. Keep in mind, each of these qualifiers is segmented very awkwardly. And European Terrans are actually mostly Eastern European Terrans. You think about players like Haas and Happy and whatnot, and folks from Poland as well. It's actually, this is the Western / Central European qualifiers, so pretty much France plus whatever the middle of Europe is against Germany. So I'm not super surprised to have such a low turnout. I don't.
We don't have a lot of. You don't understand Europe. Yeah,
thank you.
I was gonna say, like, us Americans, North Americans, we don't care. This should be a fight that Dayshi easily takes, unless he takes some really bad corrosive bile shots, which he does not.
Oh, that's stim. He just stimmed right through the corrosive biles. Not a care given. I mean that. At the end. He wins that fight really easily.
Yeah, he did. Not as, I mean, if there was medevacs, maybe he wins even more. But, you know, when there's no medevacs, there's a lot of Liberators and even a couple of tanks. I think I saw the tank, maybe? Regardless, those Liberators are helping out a lot, too. And he is starting to add in at least 1 medevac per cycle. But I feel like Dayshi's really, like, this is a lot better than last game. Like, tons better. And it all started with just opening up, I think, with a stronger economic build, as well as that those Banshees, actually, they ended up really helping.
Well, I'm actually gonna like the Banshee quite a bit here too for taking out some of these lurkers. I mean, Tank's gonna be the best out of that, obviously. Lurkers are gonna be a huge problem for the bios. He stay mid, but there's only 1 or 2, and he hits it just a good time for TLO's really got too many. Ravagers get some good corrosive bios on the intake of that engagement, and the Lurkers clean up most of the Marines, so now Dayshi's got to fall back, and his army supply drastically falls when this happens.
Yeah, that might have been the mistake that cost him the game. If he can't defend against this counterattack, he's in trouble. Now, there are Liberators, and yeah, I think he's okay. I think.
I mean, Chris about that stuff too.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just, if he's rallying back at home, he just barely has enough, but he is starving on minerals, and TLO expand to another base. That one attack might have cost Dayshi the game. He just lost his momentum.
Yeah.
He had to run into a ton of shots for free to get 1 lurker. Obviously, at the hindsight 2020, but in the end, was not worth it. Now he's in trouble.
Well, that's. I mean, I wanted to pretty much.
It looks like it. Down 70 supply. That really sucks too. He was in finally a very prime position in the mid game with good production and a 4th base on the way. And just a little bit of over-eagerness killed him.
I will say that it does suck, again, that we didn't see a lot of Marauders for this. If you'd been able to push through a little bit easier before the Lurkers were out or anything like that, timing-wise. I mean, he did a good job defending in so many respects, but this... Those
upgrades are also a problem again.
Yeah,
you know, like Roach Hydra, which just ended up actually being, by the way, it wasn't Roach Ravager Corruptor. They have that really sick 2-2 timing in Heart of the Swarm that most people learned about when Merry-Go-Round was in the map pool, you know? And that you just really weren't supposed to take the engagement if they had 2-2 and you didn't, unless you really knew you were going to win. And maybe the basics there were kind of forgotten about, but Dayshi would always have much later upgrades.
Yeah, that's actually a big point with bringing in here too, because things like Roaches, especially with +2 armor, heavily armored units. But looks like Yogo and Minimath are going to be playing here. I think they may have already started. I don't see them in the channel, so if we get JT or somebody to Ninja join, I hope we will. But regardless, we'll go to a break. It looks like they're actually in game right now, so we'll go to a break. When we come back, maybe we'll catch game 2 or 3. TLO will be competing in that final slot against either Minimath or Yogo for a chance to play. And I think wasn't it Minimath who sent TLO down to the losers bracket right at the start of the day?
Yes.
Well, we're going to figure out what goes on next. Keep in mind the American qualifiers are creeping up just a little over an hour away, so wrap up this losers bracket and then jump right into those. Go to the ad break, and we'll see you guys in a bit.